After what seemed like either a lifetime or a trip back in time to 2007, the field of 12 has finally been filled out. The never-ending questions of 3 lost teams and strength of schedules have finally been answered. But before we go over those lucky few who made the dance, we must go over those who weren't so lucky. Do you remember the story of Icarus? Miami came into the season with very little expectations, and by that I mean the entire conference was on their shoulders. Here's Cam Ward from the transfer portal to jumpstart the offense with his poise and nonchalant attitude. And therein lies Miami's issues. An escape against Virginia Tech through a 15-minute review. A comeback against a Cal team they should have beaten by 30. A back and forth against Louisville of all teams, nearly blowing a lead to Duke. They were stumbling after every hurdle until they slipped on the baby oil, losing to Georgia Tech and Atlanta. Still amongst the polls and in the playoff picture because everyone thought they'd cakewalk the ACC. All they had to do was go into Syracuse and take care of business for a trip to Charlotte. Only issue, they tripped. Losing in another back and forth to another unranked conference opponent was the death knell, and it rang loud and clear. No ACC title since joining the conference 20 years ago. They flew too close to the sun and again it got burnt to a crisp. Overrated? Understatement.
Miss!
Another year, another chance to flex the muscle of the might of the Crimson Tide. Sneaking into the playoff last year and losing this in Classic in the semifinal will not be acceptable this time around. Jalen Milroe is back and he's ready to destroy worlds with his superhuman abilities. And this time he has help. True freshman receiver Ryan Williams. All the spectacular catches and big chunk plays in the world. Defeating Georgia last minute in a game for the ages. Then they hit the schneid. Suffering the greatest loss of all time and giving the world its greatest blessing before losing again to prove that the entire state of Tennessee owns them. Nearly losing to South Carolina if not for Deus Ex Machina. Fans and purists hating on Kalen DeBoer for wearing a hoodie and smiling. A punishable offense, surely. Punishment came in its greatest form.
All season long, it's another pick in the flat. Kip Lewis, Milroe can't get him. Pick 6, Oklahoma.
Losing to a 5-5 Oklahoma team on the road by 21. The offense looked dead. Ryan Williams forgot how to football. Every pundit and news outlet looking for an excuse to get a 3-loss Alabama team into the playoff when it didn't deserve to be. No one feels bad. You want to get in the playoff? Don't lose to Oklahoma.
Miss!
And now for the few, the chosen, the 12 teams that will have a shot at the ultimate prize. Let's begin. Someone said there will be a 3-loss team in this playoff. No one just thought it will be Clemson. Fair as it would be as Dabo Swinney is allergic to doing anything against Georgia in Week 1 as he is at the transfer portal. The rest of the season would bode well for them, of course until losing to Louisville, but then they bounce back again. In Week 14 it seemed all too easy. Winning your chances of a conference championship become clearer. They would then lose to South Carolina and all but kill their playoff chances. But alas, a savior from upstate New York came in clutch. Miami loses and you're into Charlotte. A game you had firm control of at halftime somehow came down to the wire. A return to opposing territory and a shot at glory come down to 56 yards.
Kickers in the history of the United States. It'll be a 56-yarder. The win really not a factor. Snap and hold are good. That one is good! At the buzzer!
Nolan Hauser, you just invited yourself to every frat party in Clemson and are a legend for life. Kudos! When SMU announced to join the ACC last year, I stared at the screen scratching my head. Despite only losing to BYU in Week 3, the team looked to be strong. Then they just kept winning. Week after week, proving their mettle, climbing the rankings, and making everyone ask themselves, is SMU legit? Only behind Miami in the ACC on the outside looking in until Week 14, easily winning a trip to Charlotte with their favorite over Clemson that can lock up a potential first-round bye. They're down at half and all is looking bleak. Except Kevin Jennings is an absolute stud, bringing the Mustangs back from the brink to tie the game. But we all know what happens. The debate at this point is, do you snub 2-loss SMU or 3-loss Alabama? I'd say the right decision was made.
I'm so scared, oh my god. Yes!
Normally when you think of Bloomington, Indiana and postseason play, you think of their hardwood. But not in 2024. The third overall best record in the nation, a top 5 offense, and a top 10 defense, but their only loss to Ohio State should be a lock for the playoff, no? Well, according to the experts, the schedule is Sarmin soft. The nicest strength of schedule in the country only means they played absolutely nobody. It's okay, they just took out their anger on poor old Purdue. A much-deserved playoff spot is earned. Now to see if they prove they belong. Just be like Kendrick and turn the TV off. Is it bad that I legitimately forgot about Tennessee? Without divisions in the SEC anymore, the winner-take-all aspect is a new wrinkle to me. Nevertheless, Rocky Top looked absolutely dominant through the first month of play. Then they took a trip to Hog City. The next month and a half went without any significant wrinkle. Thankfully, knocking off Alabama at a time when we needed them to do so. Situations putting them atop the SEC rankings with control of their own destiny. And then they couldn't handle getting barked at. Shameful. A smooth end to the rest of the campaign gives them an at-large bid. At least you aren't the Titans. Well, knowing them very well, they might not even have made the playoff. After last season, Ohio State was on a mission. It was never a question of qualifying, but how successful they'd be after the C.J. Stroud era, with Will Howard coming out of the portal. The answer? Throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith and watch magic happen. Wait, isn't he a freshman? A top 5 matchup on the road against Oregon would be the toughest opponent they get for a good while. The game came down to the wire, and trailing by 1, all they needed was one drive and a field goal to secure victory. If only they told Will Howard that. Just win the rest of your games and you'll be fine. Your only quality loss will be to the Ducks and you'll be one of the higher at-large bids. Only one job was left. Beat Michigan.
Ohio State. Howard in trouble. Incomplete. Ohio State turns it over on downs. And the Michigan Wolverines will shock the college football world.
Michigan went 7-5 this year and you lost? Well, congrats. To save face, you started crash out week and Ryan Day hasn't beat Michigan since 2021. If you don't get it together, all of Ohio football will be in hell. James Franklin, you're a lucky man, you know that? For years you've been chastised for being a massive choke artist and never finishing the job when you needed it to get done. But this time around it's different. You've got Drew Aura under center and a running back tandem like Saquon and Miles nearly a decade ago. Throw in college football equivalent to Travis Kelce and Abdul Carter on defense and you're thriving. With your only loss to Ohio State in the top 5 clash. Easy pickings for where you are. The only issue? You too get the Indiana treatment. Key wins against ranked Illinois, USC in overtime, and Washington. If you lost to any of those games, you'd be worse frauds than any Ponzi scheme known to man. Go lose to Oregon in the Big Ten title game and pray you still get a home game. And thank Michigan while you're at it. The perception of Notre Dame at the start of every season is one of the same. The Dallas Cowboys of college football. Will they be as good as they think they are? Who's on their schedule? Will they non-conference their way into the playoff again when they get blown out? Times change after all. Game 1 they go into SEC territory and knock off Texas A&M. Game 2 they leave us with the greatest meme of all.
5 seconds left, NIU up 16-14. 62-yarder. Snap, hold, Jeter's It's blocked! It's blocked! Picked up by NIU! Picked up by NIU! The Huskies have done it!
Normally a loss like this is enough to garner embarrassment and laughter for all to enjoy. However, times change. The first team to drop 66 on Purdue, beating both ranked Army and ranked Navy in the New York, New Jersey area, running the table and winning out to earn the 6th seed and a home game at Notre Dame Stadium. Maybe, just maybe, Notre Dame isn't overrated? I don't think I can live in that world. Everything is bigger in Texas, especially the expectations. First year in the SEC, just dominate the conference despite not playing Alabama, Ole Miss, or LSU. Down by 3 to Oklahoma after a quarter, shut them out the rest of the game. Trouble in Vietnam, don't suffer from Tennessee syndrome. A rivalry on hold for 13 years finally resumes. Worst thing you could do is combat battered Aggie syndrome by injecting their veins 20 cc's of opium up to the point where an upset could be in the cards. Shut the door on them. SEC championship game secured. After 4 months of being in the conference, there's only one problem the Longhorns face: Georgia. Midway through the year, they came into Austin and walked out with a victory. Keep throwing garbage, remember the refs overturned that flag after all. In Atlanta, there was a shot for redemption. A close, low-scoring contest throughout. The first ever overtime in the game's history could be the saving grace needed. A field goal kicked in the lead and possibly payback is theirs.
They handed it to him. Georgia SEC
not enough. And when you stop going for the kill shot every time, you wouldn't be here. You still get the highest at large seed, so not too much harm done here. Behold the last team with the first round bye, and what a story it is. Arizona State finished their last Pac-12 campaign at 3-9 and was picked to finish last in their first year in the realigned Big 12. Their response? Pure embarrassment, as the Sun Devils run amok through their schedule with wins over SEC bottom feeder and Big 12 favorite Utah. One thing is assured: you cannot tackle Cam Scatterboo. He is inevitable. A second loss had everyone thinking they were dead to rights. They used it as fuel. 5 straight wins with a showdown with Iowa State and Dallas. Win and you're in. Once again, you cannot tackle Cam Scatterboo. Arizona State also scored more touchdowns at AT&T Stadium in one game than the Cowboys have all year. Ticket punched. The smallest fork at the table is now fit for a king. 18 years ago, Boise State started the Why Not Us campaign. The notion that they too deserve a shot at the big dogs as do all the top small schools. For all the 2008 Utahs and 2017 UCFs of the world, Boise State is your champion. Their season is not so much a tale of the team, but the tale of their workhorse. El Assassino. Ashton Genti, the Italian import at running back, taking on all challenges and leaving them in his dust. 1,000 plus rushing yards and 15 plus touchdowns by week 6. The clear-cut best back in the nation and Heisman favorite. Back to the team, the only loss was to quality to Oregon, and they have the second best overall record in the country. But oh boy, please stop reminding us they're in the Mountain West and have played absolutely no one. Well, guess what? They won their games. See that for a lot of you wanna-be-heres. Boise, you've been given the chance you wanted all those years ago. Maybe you can shock the world. Maybe. Georgia, I've got a bone to pick with you. Several, in fact. For all the dominance you showed against Clemson and being the #1 rated team in the country, you look sloppy. Yes, you are the #2 overall seed based on merit, but you do not go without chased. How did you almost blow it to Kentucky? What in God's name happened against Alabama? You let Mississippi State score more points than their name has letters. Florida. Ole Miss. Be glad you beat Texas in October or else you'll be joining the tide. Be glad Texas A&M lived up to their choker label and got Bieber balled. You bounced back and beat Tennessee, so at least there's that. But for the love of God, no more of what happened against Georgia Tech. Not to address the elephant in the Lamborghini. Carson Beck. For one note, he was supposed to be the next in line to lead Georgia to glory. Fans already miss Stetson Bennett. He has a problem. He suffers from lock-in deficiency. More turnovers than your average bakery. Laughing it up on the sidelines on a loss to Ole Miss. He doesn't even watch football. Somehow miraculously he figured it out and Georgia ran the table, and by the grace of a 4-way tie for first place, they go to Atlanta, where they play Texas again. This contest tighter and less explosive than the last, outlasting the Longhorns and earning the first round bye by an SEC title.
I won!
Now about Carson Beck. He's done for the season. We'll have to rely on, check my notes here. Gunnar Stockton. Will you be 2023 Florida State or 2014 Ohio State? The choice is yours. The last remaining undefeated team in the nation. Oregon just might have had its greatest season in a full decade. Brand new members with the extended Big Ten, which brought in 3 of its Pac-12 mates. And they wiped the floor with the whole damn conference. Or at least whoever was on their schedule. Doing it in typical high-flying Oregon fashion. Scoring more than 20 plus in every game this year. May I congratulate you on being Boise State's quality loss. May I congratulate you on defeating Ohio State at home with their humbling the superiority complex. Also, congratulations to 842-year-old Dylan Gabriel becoming the all-time leader in passing touchdowns. Just don't give us another scare like what happened against Wisconsin and you'll be fine. A walk in the park to Indianapolis and capture the ultimate prize. The #1 overall seed. The walkers of the brightest path were green and neon yellow, and without a doubt the team to beat. Just don't lose to a vengeful Ohio State.
And there you have it. January is upon us, the bracket is set, and the gauntlet is ready to be run through. If you're looking for a prediction, don't ask.